20 years ago, I started with nothing and built my company from the ground up. I'm a guy who hunts coffee in the world's most dangerous places for the most demanding names in the business. The pay is good if I get the coffee home.
Wow, that was a clip of the Travel Channel's hit show, Dangerous Grounds. It looked dangerous, right?
Yeah, it did. And our next guest scours the globe hunting for the best coffee. It's not easy, but it is exciting, Shannon. And you'll never look at your morning brew the same way. Welcome, Todd Carmichael, to Arise 360. My goodness.
Thanks for having me.
Who knew the business of coffee beans could be so dangerous?
Exactly, right.
You've been to Borneo, Haiti, Bolivia. What's the most dangerous situation you've been in? And is it worth risking your life for coffee?
Right.
For just the average coffee, I mean, I would say that if you said, Todd, why do you do this? I mean, coffee tastes like coffee.
All right, so Todd, why do you do this? Coffee tastes like coffee.
Exactly. Except there's that 1% of coffee, that diamond, that beautiful pearl, that coffee that's like none other. And that one, it's actually worth it.
So what makes it so different, these coffees from these other regions? What you said, that one diamond, what is that diamond in the coffee?
Well, first, what you have to do is you have to go to a country. There are about 80 different countries around the equator that have the right kind of weather and the right kind of soil for this type of coffee. And then you got to go really high up into the mountains, because the coffees those coffees that we're talking about are at about 7,000 or 8,000 feet. So it's that area of the country that's isolated, but in a country that's already isolated.
So how do you go about finding these superior coffee beans? Is it really about location, location, location?
It's location, location, location. It's about variety. It's about weather. It's all these different components that come together to create the perfect storm.
So what is the key to finding that perfect coffee bean? I mean, do you research on the internet? Is it word of mouth? Is there sort of like a coffee click and you all hook each other up with where the cool coffee is? How does it work?
Google it. Well, you know, it's like hunting a treasure, you know, and so you have to start doing your homework. So research is a big part of it. And then you just have to not give up. And, you know, again, you know, they're in this area of the world that, you know, things aren't that easy. When the road stops, then you get out of your truck and then you keep hiking and you keep going forward. And then you run into some issues or you run into beautiful people and you just keep going and going and going until you finally find it.
Let's talk about one of those issues, because you're like the Indiana Jones of the coffee world. You were in Mexico.
That's right.
And it almost didn't end well.
No.
Someone you sent on your behalf actually ended up...
Well, yeah, my contact was murdered before.
Can you tell us that story? You were in drug dealer territory, too. I mean, Mexico, some parts are pretty dicey.
Well, that's the thing, you know, because this type of coffee is only grown in areas that are really off the grid. And then what I mean by off the grid is also very, you know, attractive to other things that grow, like opium and like, you know, like coca that makes cocaine. And so you find that your neighbors aren't always the most hospitable. Guerrero is on my blacklist, and there's about 4 countries still that, you know, when you have either like Scud missiles or you have drone strikes or you have a war that, you know, real hot war where people are actually shooting themselves and, you know, each other in the face. That's my blacklist. And Guerrero just dropped off my blacklist. Jean-Georges wanted me to go into Mexico to find this particular coffee. And Guerrero, as you well know, it's been a war zone for about 15 years. You have 60,000 people that die every 4 years, usually, you know, from strikes from the drug lords and the rest of it. And so it finally was a place that I thought I can go into and get out of without losing my life.
Yeah, in one piece.
And, well, things kind of, they got hot for a while. My contact wasn't alive when I got there. I decided to go up anyway, and I got grabbed and I got held for a period of time at gunpoint. It was the first time in my life, actually. I mean, I've been shot at a number of times, but never have I ever had like a barrel of a gun at the back of my head.
What was going through your mind when they had these guns pointed at you?
Well, you know, the first thing, you know, when things like that happen, you know, time slows down. You're not really afraid because you're you're almost in shock. It wasn't until about 3 or 4 minutes later till I realized that I knew I was going to live, because the guy that was holding the gun on me was shaking more than I was.
Wow.
So he was just as afraid of me as I was afraid of him.
I would have been like, I need a new pair of underwear, please. Can somebody help me out? That is so scary.
Okay.
That's so scary.
Yeah, I thought it's funny because I saw that, you know, that cut in the episode, and there was a part of it that was actually cut out, was me apologizing to my camera guy, and I kept saying, I'm sorry, Hollywood, I'm sorry, because I thought we were going to die. I was apologizing to him because well, you know, he follows me on these things, and I bring him through all these different countries, and I was just saying, and I'm really sorry, man. I'm sorry, because I thought that was pretty much the end.
So how did you get out of that situation? I mean, do you offer them an amazing cup of coffee for your freedom?
Yeah, exactly.
How does that work?
Let me tell you a couple jokes. And, make a great cup of coffee.
A man walks into a coffee shop and how do you survive that?
You've got a lot of angles of conflict that are going on, and you have this one side, which is the farmer side. These are people who are trying to reconnect. They're farm boys like me, you know, people who grow things and they sell it, and then that's how they survive, and that's how they move to the next generation. And they've decided to fight back. And they armed up, and they thought I was on the bad side. And they spent a lot of time screaming, "Are you the CIA? Are you FBI? Are you?" And I'm like, no. I convinced them I was a coffee buyer, and then they all just kind of lightened up, and they were like, "Oh my gosh."
Well, it must be a very lucrative business to put yourself in such dangerous situations. How much can you make for, say, like a pound of these superior coffee beans?
Well, I mean, it's part lucrative. It's just part who I am. You know, it's what I do. Last year, I found and I sold $47 million worth of high-end coffee.
My goodness.
To the best chefs and restaurants and cafes in the United States of America. This year, we'll probably do like $55 to $60 million.
And your clients include Jean-Georges, you mentioned, Jean-Georges von Grieten, and Mario Batali.
Mario, yeah, he's a good one.
He's a character.
Yeah, the Four Seasons, Ritz-Carlton. I mean, I do a lot of things. These are people who understand the importance of flavor, and they understand that there's coffee that tastes like coffee, and there's coffee that tastes like heaven, and that's my job, is to find that heavenly coffee. The thing that when you go to have a meal at the Four Seasons Hotel or at Jean-Georges' place, you don't forget that cup of coffee. It's very simple. It's simple like wine, I guess, is simple, or cheese is simple, like food simple. But when you drink it, it makes a moment for you.
You make me want to go out and grab a coffee.
I know, right?
The way you talk about it. It's so like passionate. Poetry.
I know.
Now, is it true you started off at Starbucks?
Yeah, I was.
No way.
It was a long time ago. I had long, beautiful hair, and it was 1982 to date myself. And I was just a little farm boy that made it to the big city, and this company gave me the opportunity to, to have a job, to work in their warehouse, to drag bags of coffee around, and it was Starbucks. They had 3 cafes at the time.
You're kidding.
And
now they have 3 on this block alone.
Right, exactly. They have a Starbucks in a Starbucks.
So when did you realize you could make a career out of the Java business?
Well, for me, it started with the names on the bags. You know, I was dragging these bags around. I saw Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, DR Congo, Tanzania. I saw these names, and I dreamt about the bigger world. And I just decided, I guess, at around 19 or 20, that I would just follow my dreams. And I've been doing that since.
I love this story. In addition to a coffee hunter, you're a thrill seeker as well. And I want to get this correct because I couldn't believe it, but in 2008, you set the still-standing world record for the fastest unsupported trek to the South Pole. You did it in 39 days, 7 hours, and 49 minutes.
Wow.
You remember each of those minutes, don't you?
Yeah, those are very difficult minutes. Yeah, I was dropped on the edge of Antarctica, and someone put an idea in my head. And my friends and even my children, my wife, they called me the Hound, because once I get a smell in my nose, I need to pursue it. And someone had mentioned that no one could ever walk from the edge of Antarctica to the South Pole solo, unsupported, unaided. And particularly, it was an English guy, and he said an American could never do it. So I decided I was going to do it. Wow. And it took me a couple years to prepare, and then I had this pilot drop me on the edge of Antarctica, and I had 250 pounds of food and fuel. And I headed south, and I pulled my brains out 14 hours a day. I lost 72 pounds. And you can see that I'm not a very big guy.
No.
But I arrived a skeleton. And under 40 days, and I set a new world record at 39 days, 7 hours and 49 minutes, and it still hasn't been broken.
Would you ever try to do it again to break your own record?
Well, my wife and I, we adopted 4 children from Ethiopia, and so I became a father just right after, so absolutely not. It's 2 months is too long to be away, but I still think that you can do it in 36 days. It can be done.
What about any other records? Break?
Well, I crossed big deserts, and I still hold the record for Death Valley, Namibian Desert, and the Sahara Desert, and then Antarctica. I love to.
What is it about doing this that draws you? Because clearly you're not a person who likes to sit at home on the couch.
No. I actually really enjoy that sometimes.
No way.
It's like I enjoy all the. I think it's just that at some point in my life, I decided that I wanted to live a big one. And I get these ideas, and then I can't shake them. Right now, we're looking at a couple of areas in Africa that apparently gringos like me just haven't been in a long time.
Like where?
And I think like the heart of DR Congo, there's some of the great coffees in there. It's just thick in the heart of the jungle. It's soil. It's just so rich and so amazing. And they're just, no one is willing to go in and find what, you know, what's there. And I want to. So I've got it in my mind, and we need to go.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Sounds like an adventure.
Yeah. Well, you're not only an avid adventurer, you're also a great humanitarian. Tell us about your collaboration with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, Leo. Well, the Leo thing.
Oh, you're on a first name basis with
Leo,
him.
yeah,
Like that. Leo.
Yeah, like that.
The short name.
Like Jonah was this weekend. Oh, Leo, that's my boy.
Oh, my man.
Yeah.
It started out as a challenge because I like to, if I watch you eat for a couple days, I can make a coffee for you that fits you.
You can.
You don't like coffee, you like tea, but you don't understand. You love coffee. You
I
love
do.
citrus flavors. You like sweetness, honey. You like honeysuckle. I can move those things together. Like bergamot tea, right? You love it. And yasmin. I know you love yasmin. You know, so I start working with those flavors.
You're hypnotizing me. No, you are. I'm going to start quacking.
I can smell your perfume. I know what you like. So what I started doing.
You can smell my perfume.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. And you're very floral. You're very sweet. You like natural sugars, not like refined sugars. You like honey, like from apple blossom, right? So and then we're gonna get citrus, but not lime, but more like on the lemon side. You know the lemon slice you must put in your water, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I know exactly that you do that. So what I'll do is I'll start finding coffees. I'll travel the world, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna make you coffee.
Is it going to be called the Lola coffee?
It's called the Lola. And so Leo said, oh, you know, he thought I was just joking. And I came back 3 weeks later and I made him a coffee.
You're kidding.
And I've converted, that's his coffee. It's Leo. That's the flavor and taste of Leo.
Is it going to be better than my coffee?
No, this is different. Okay. He likes nutty, like nuts. I mean, you like nuts, but not like he likes nuts. Wow. So, and then we'll have chocolate. You're more of a chocolate guy, you know, but milk chocolate, not bitter chocolate.
Yeah, no.
And so what I'll do is I'll fabricate a coffee for you, and I'll find the soil that matches your flavors. I'll put that together, and then when I did that, we decided he loved it, and I said, I tell you what, let's take all the profit from this coffee and give it to things that we care about. And we've been doing that for a couple of years now, and we've made we've moved the life of lots of villages and cities and in mountains. We've been able to make a difference, and just by having fun with flavors.
That's great. You're doing great work. And before you go, you have to tell us, out of all the places you traveled around the world, who has the best coffee?
Yes.
Well, you mean other than me, right?
Right, of course. Or the region, the place. Where should we go to get a good cup of joe?
So let's say you say, Todd, you're stranded on a desert island, and you got to bring one country with you.
Okay.
It's Ethiopia.
Ethiopia.
Hands down, without a question. Forget it. It's where the plant originally, you know, it actually evolved. The people understand the harvesting. The flavors that are possible within that country are outstanding. Ethiopia is the home of all that is great coffee. So if you were going to go out to your store or to your cafe and you were just going to pick one off the shelf, pick a high-grade Ethiopian and you won't be disappointed.
All right. Best cup of coffee in New York, other than your coffee, of course.
Oh, my goodness. I would say, you know, there's so much. You know, the epicenter of coffee. Now, you're originally from Seattle, you know, so this is hard for me to say. And then I've been in Portland. That's great. And LA is great. The epicenter of beautiful coffee on this planet right now is in New York.
Really?
You have a selection of coffee in this city that's outstanding. I mean, it's just, wow. The independent cafes here are outrageous. I mean, they're really beautiful. And if I had to go to a cafe that wasn't my own, I would go to my friend. His name is James. He owns a company from San Francisco called Blue Bottle.
Blue Bottle.
You go to a Blue Bottle and order either just a pour over or an espresso.
That's in Rockefeller Center.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
He's my boy. I love him. He's great. He's my biggest competitor.
Well, now we know where to go to get coffee. Where can we go to check out your show?
All right. So tonight, you know, it premieres the second season tonight on Travel Channel at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock on Travel Channel. We'll be there.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you're watching Arise Entertainment 360.